More than 220 million students are affected by COVID-19 around the world. Still, in 23 countries, schools are closed indefinitely. Naturally, this puts pressure on everyone.
The teacher's recording this. She can watch us and see that we're not behaving.
Yeah, I know.
But it creates an existential question only for higher education.
COVID-19 is forcing colleges across the country to rewrite their back-to-school plan.
Colleges across the country face difficult choices.
We're really in a period of great uncertainty.
On April 7, 2020, Moody's Investment Service downgraded the entire higher education sector from stable to negative. That means universities without strong brand names and consistent student demand had to adapt their models more quickly than universities that enjoy the top market position. But others, this is a nightmare for higher education.
The share of Americans going to higher education has been rising for at least a century. I think actually more than that. So that's as far as I remember the data. Yeah, basically there's been a long-term trend towards a higher and higher share of graduating high school students going to college.
So right now we're in the dead center of Harvard Yard, which is where you'll probably go when you first visit Harvard.
Higher education is a game of prestige. So the higher the price, the higher the education. In this prestige game, signaling is the #1 rule. And signaling has some unintended consequences. For instance, credentialism, in other words, degree inflation. It means that the minimum credentials required for the same job over the years has increased, and it increased rapidly.
Think about the amount of mobility the US would have had in 1950 compared to today. It's not at all clear that college has raised it. Rather, it just means that now if you want to rise, you've got to go to college, whereas in 1950, there would have been a lot of non-college options for upward mobility. You now need more education to get the same job that your parents or grandparents could have gotten with less.
During the second half of the 20th century, higher education started to seem like a must to young people for the social mobility they're looking for. If they wanted to live in a bigger house and drive a better car than their parents, they had to go to college. So they did. Actually, everyone did. And now it's defeating its own purpose.
Every college graduate's worst nightmare is that they're going to graduate and for some reason, they're not going to be able to get a job.
Fast forward to today's world, and now there are more college graduates than we could ever need. At the age of Zuckerbergs and Silicon Valley, aka the heaven of college dropouts, a degree doesn't seem necessary to be better than your parents anymore. Many people started questioning the point of getting a degree while the world is throwing tantrums outside of their windows.
Now, there is really basically no stigma against doing your higher education online because everybody's doing it.
All those Zoom classes made them realize that learning was not their #1 objective in college, and that's fine. They understood that they were in for the campus life, the network, and the brand name. But now we have COVID. What is left from all that is only the brand name. And that's why only the big brand names will survive this pandemic. That brings us to the ultimate question. What will it be like in the future? The change makes everyone anxious. Students, parents, professors, college administrations. Everyone is on their tiptoes, waiting for solutions. The good news is there are solutions. For example, removing the incentives for teenagers and their families to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a diploma, just for the sake of it. Introducing more programs for micro-learning environments, making them affordable and accessible.
If you say, well, how will people know how to do the jobs when they show up? They don't know how to do the jobs when they show up right now. Right? When you get hired out of college, you don't know how to do your job. Right? You learn on the job. That's where job training happens. And like, if people think of education as job training, but it's really much more accurate to say education is a passport to the real job training, which happens on the job.
Tech giants like Google and Facebook are already using these solutions to hire their newcomers. In Students for Liberty, we have been doing this for years. Our mission is to educate, develop, and empower the next generation of leaders. We've been giving the resources and opportunities to help our leaders grow on many walks of life. It is the best example of alternative educational methods of success. Stay tuned for our next episode on cities. Until then, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and stay libertarian.